I spent thousands of dollars publishing my debut novel, A Time for Us, and I do it all over again, but not quite the same way, because self-publishing taught me a lot and gave me inspiration to start the next chapter of my life. I'm Rachel Anthony. Welcome or welcome back to my channel for another Writing Wednesday. And today I want to talk about the pros and cons of self-publishing. There are many pros, but there are some cons. And I think we all need to take both of those into consideration when we make the decision whether or not we're going to self-publish. So the biggest one, in my opinion, is the royalties. You don't have to split the royalties with a publisher or with an agent. You get to keep all of your net income from your book. And that's a good chunk of change. So that, after going down the self-publishing route, that's something that I value highly and is definitely motivating me to stay on the self-published side. Next, you get total control. You get to control your book title, your book cover, and the context of your book. In many cases, in traditional publishing, you lose that control. You may get some input into those things, but ultimately the publisher has the total control on the final say in those decisions. Next is speed to market. As a self-published author, once you've decided that your book is ready for market, you get to take it to market. If you want to go the traditional route, let's say you already have an agent. That agent needs to shop your book to publishers. Then those publishers need to take it through their own hoops before they're ready to put it to market. That typically takes 2 years. 2 years after you, the author, determine that you are ready to publish your book and take it to market. As a self-published author, you don't have to do that. You upload it to whatever distribution platform you choose, and your book is published. Next is another huge one for me, and that's total visibility into sales. In traditional publishing, you get your advance, and then you get what your publisher deems to be your royalties. You have absolutely zero insight into the true sales of your book. You have to go through your publisher to get that information. I went the hybrid publishing route for my debut novel. And even with hybrid publishing, I don't have insight into my book sales. I am currently waiting for my Q1 book sale numbers from my hybrid publisher. I have visibility into my sales on my website because I control that, but the publisher controls everything else from the wider distribution. And as a self-published author, once you upload your manuscript, your EPUB to your distribution platforms, you get to see what books are being sold. First-hand information, don't have to wait for reports, don't have to take the word of a third party. Next is direct access to your readers. To some extent, traditionally published authors have this as well, but there's a special niche with self-published authors. You get to foster and then own that relationship with your readers. There's something about actually seeing people reading your book on Book Talk and talking about it, reviewing it, and I get to talk back with them and answer questions that they have. And that is something I value probably more than anything else in this whole journey, actually interacting with the people who are reading my book. So that's something that I don't think a lot of traditionally published authors have, but with Book Talk and Bookstagram, that may be changing a bit. The next thing is flexibility to pivot. When you use a traditional publisher, once it's out there, it's done. And again, you don't have control over any updates to your book, like the cover, for example. I am in the process of having my cover for A Time for Us redesigned, from feedback that I've gotten from my readers. So my redesigned cover will be revealed this summer, but I wanted something different. And I, the author, as a self-published author, had the flexibility to make the decision that I wanted to redesign the cover and decide what that redesign is going to look like. Price adjustments. Right now, if I want to change the price of my book, I have to go through my hybrid publisher, because they would be the ones that would need to change the price on their distribution platforms. I can change the price easily on my website, and when I have sales, that's where I will have them, because I do have that flexibility. But if I had uploaded my books to the distribution platforms myself, I would have the flexibility to change the price, put them on sale at my own whim, without having to worry about going through my publisher. And marketing strategy. Believe it or not, traditionally published authors have to do a lot of their own marketing anyway. But you get to decide, as a self-published author, what that marketing strategy looks like. So not just putting yourself out there at the direction of a publisher, but you, the author, gets to decide. So right now, my initial publishing strategy pre-launch was leaned heavily on book talk and engaging with influencers to review my book. Now that I'm post-launch, I am changing that strategy a little bit. I'm going to see how that works. So more to come on that. But again, I got to decide how I wanted to pivot. So there's a lot of flexibility into being a self-published author. Now comes the cons. The biggest con, I'm not saving the biggest for last, I'm putting it out there first, is that you have to come out of pocket for everything, all costs, cover design, editing, marketing, all of it you are on the hook for. Even with hybrid publishing, like I did, I had to hire the hybrid publisher that I went through, and it came at a cost, and not a small one. A lot of the things that I tasked them to do and paid for them to do, I now understand how to do that myself. So I won't be spending that money to do that in that way. But I will now have to spend the time, and there will still be a cost associated with that, and it's all on me as the self-published author. So I think for a lot of self-published authors, that's probably the biggest drawback. But again, there's a way to do it on a budget, and I might do a video about that as I'm going through the process of publishing book 2 completely self-published and not going through a hybrid publisher. Next is you wear all the hats. You're the writer, you are the editor to a certain extent, because you are hiring out to get it edited. You are the marketer. You get to decide the distribution routes. It's all on you. So yeah, you have control, but with that control comes responsibility. You have to make all the decisions and execute on those decisions. So that can get mentally exhausting for some. It can be exhilarating for some of us masochists, because I enjoy it. This is another big one for self-published authors, a big con, and that is the limited reach to readers. It is very difficult, very challenging to get your self-published books into especially mainstream bookstores. I spend a lot of my time right now reaching out to independent bookstores, both locally here in Charlotte and across the country, to get my books into independent bookstores. And I feel like I've been relatively successful. It's amazing to see your book on bookstore shelves, and but I have yet to get into like one of the mainstream bookstores. And if that's something you desire as an author, you will be challenged as a self-published author. So just know that. Another con that I recently found out about after getting some recommendations from some of my author friends. I tried to submit my book, my debut novel, for debut author, first time author awards. And what I found is that the majority of the awards that are out there require that the submissions be done by the publishing company and not by the author. There are some independent awards, independent publishing awards, self-publishing awards out there, and I did submit my book for those. But there's some prestige that comes with getting some of those awards, or even being shortlisted for some of those awards. And if you're a self-published author, you are limited to your access to those awards. So I'm proud to have submitted myself for several of the self-published awards. And I'll do another video about that, because I think that's important. That's another way of getting your books visible to additional readers. But unless you are with a publisher who will submit your book to these book awards, you will not be eligible for them. So just another con. May not be something important to everyone, but depending upon your marketing strategy, that getting an award can be huge in getting your books in front of new readers. So what has all this taught me? Self-publishing my debut novel taught me that, one, everything that I hired my hybrid publisher to do, everything that a traditional publisher does, I can do myself. And I intend on doing that for my second novel. And as I looked at it, I was like, I have basically done everything a publisher can do. So why not start my own publishing company and put my own imprint on my own books? So that's what I'm going to do. I have officially launched Infinite Serenity Publishing, and I will be publishing my second book on my own imprint, and I will be republishing A Time for Us on my own imprint, Infinite Serenity Publishing. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to redesign the cover for A Time for Us. In addition to all of the things I listed out about the cons of self-publishing, those were motivating factors for me to create my own publishing company. But another big factor was I wanted to be a home for other women authors who got the same beatdown that I got when I was trying to do traditional publishing. Infinite Serenity Publishing will be a place where you will get that support for putting your book out to the masses, just like a traditional publisher. But you will not have to pay that upfront cost, nor will you have to have an agent to come on board and be distributed by Infinite Serenity Publishing. So it's in its infancy right now. I just got all the red tape completed. So it is live, it is born. And the first books that will be published on my imprint will be my own. I will be the guinea pig for my first journey through my publishing company. But once my second book is published, I will open it up to other female authors, and I'm being very intentional about that. I have a special place in my heart for other women authors, and keeping it real, especially women of color. I think their voices are way too often silenced, and I want to be the megaphone that they need. So more to come about that, and I'm hoping that you will subscribe and stay with me on this journey, because there's a new chapter coming, not just book 2, but Infinite Serenity Publishing is something that it's a new baby that I'm birthing and bringing to life, and I know it will be successful, and I hope you stay on the journey with me. So I hope you like this content. If you did, please give it a thumbs up And again, please subscribe so you can continue on this journey with me. And I'll see you next time on Writing Wednesdays. Bye.